My pleasure to introduce Susie Andrist to you all. Susie's been a longtime direct instruction author. Is her most recent feather in her hat is working on the Reading Mastery Transformation Edition, and so it's a pleasure to greet you, Susie, and have a chance to get some of your insights on the Transformations edition of Reading Mastery. So like to start by asking you, could you give me just a brief history, a brief history on your association with direct instruction?
Sure. Hi, Brian. I started working with Zig in January of '68, right before Follow Through started. So it was in '69 that I started program writing with him, doing Distar Reading 3, for those who remember way back to that. And then when we moved to Oregon, that development continued and revisions and so on. And then that became Reading Mastery and its various editions. And we developed a level 4, which I also co-authored, of Reading Mastery. And then corrective reading started up, and I am also a co-author of Comp A, B, and C of the corrective reading series.
Great. So what levels of the Transformations edition did you contribute to? Did you work on?
Grades 2 and 3 reading, which parallel the old levels 3 and 4 of Reading Mastery.
Yeah, because we go by grade levels, although we do know this, as with all direct instruction programs, grade levels are not the essential, it's the placement that it's all driven by. So, yeah. So, can you describe the contents of this revision in relation to the earlier editions?
Well, the two driving forces were, first of all, to meet the Common Core state standards, of course. For us, that meant it didn't really require a lot of substantive changes. Some of the levels, they had to substantially do new material. So most of what we had to do were kind of ancillary activities. We ended up having to modify some of the literature lessons because they could no longer get permissions to use those materials that were outside of our program. So the Common Core was the big one, and the other big one was adapting the teacher material to a digital device. Initially, the entire program was supposed to be digital, including the student material. And to be honest, I'm really pretty happy that the student material went back to print, because we were so constrained in the kinds of responses that the kids could do, restrained by the limitations of the digital platform that was available to us. And I feel really strongly, especially for the grade levels that I worked on, grades 2 and 3, that it's imperative for the kids to have to start creating their own answers in their head and not just marking the right answer. The multiple choice kind of thing, or the yes or no kind of thing, or to actually come up with responses and write them down. So I was really pretty happy, other than the year or more that we lost when we had to switch back. I was really happy for that change.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Yeah, the constraints of the technology. And so the changes, you say there's some changes in the literature, but are sort of the old favorites, is a previous user going to be able to open up the book and go, oh yeah, this is what I remember.
Yeah, by and large, we had a very last minute adjustment to the story, Not Just Any Ring, in grade 3, where they thought they were going to be able to get permission, I guess, to use it, but they couldn't find the original author. And so we finally had to basically rewrite that story. It's still quite similar, but we had to rewrite it enough that it wouldn't be a copyright violation. So that looks a little different.
Is there anything you wish you could have included in the revision and that you were unable to include?
Well, some of the material is kind of dated, you might say, but I still find them charming, like the Eric and Tom stories or the Al and Angela stories. Yeah, they're maybe a little dated, but I think of Ziggy when I read those stories, and people may enjoy knowing that in the Al and Angela series, the old man is being in the art. It's Ziggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do recall seeing that a while back. I think that's a neat tribute to Zig, and the very fact that these programs have existed for 50 years.
Yeah.
And they're still relevant in terms of their efficacy. I mean, what a tribute to not just to Zig, but to the groundwork that you and Gene, Cookie, all of the co-authors put into these programs.
Yeah.
The artwork has certainly changed in the program.
Oh yeah, it's all new artwork, which of course is another. It's like
yeah,
the amount of time that it takes to review the artwork and all the little things that can be missed, and some other interesting things that people may want to be paying attention to, or be aware of at least, is the amount of factual data that we have in our stories. Of course, grades 2 and 3 are designed to teach kids how to read for information. And so they're packed with all kinds of information. And it's surprising how much of that information has changed over the years. And like Pluto is no longer considered a planet in the solar system. Mm-hmm. So we modified that. The depth of the polar ice caps is changing rather radically because of climate change. We had information about that in the stories. Even the 3 states of matter, those are undergoing new definitions, and so additional states of matter keep showing up. So people might just be interested in paying attention to nuances like that when they come along.
One of the things that I heard, one of the advantages of the digital format, at least for the teacher presentation portion of it, is that there would be a relative ease of revision. Yeah. And so maybe that can be addressed, although if it's in the print version of the textbook that says there are 9 planets, well, that's
right. But the teachers can then create a special project of, let's see what new information we can find about this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. So do you have any advice aside from that, looking at what the new information might be? What advice do you have for teachers implementing the program, and perhaps coaches that are supporting those implementers?
I think the biggest thing is just going to be getting comfortable with using the tablet as the script, and using the whiteboard. Just get a lot of practice under your belt before you try and go in and start teaching. That would be my big my big emphasis.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you're going to be watching the kids and watching the tablet and also operating the whiteboard. And it's, I mean, people are doing it right, left, and sideways in all other programs. But if teachers are not used to doing it, they need to get a little practice under their belts, I think.
This is no country for old soldiers, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Do you have any closing comments, advice, perspectives that you'd like to share with folks? Or
Just, I hope people um, enjoy the new MO, the digital aspect, and that it makes things easier for teachers. I hope it makes things easier as we anticipated in terms of tracking student progress. And yeah, that's the big thing, tracking student progress. It makes it a whole lot easier. And I know teachers' lives are pretty challenging these days, especially. So anything that can lighten the load, I hope it goes down well. Yeah.
okay. Well, Susie, thank you. I really appreciate you giving your time today, and also thank you on behalf of all of the teachers, the kids out there, for your long-term and most immediate contributions to their education. It's very commendable, and it's a great tribute to Zig and your dedication to making sure that kids have the chance that they deserve. So thank you very, very sincerely, very much for that.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk about it, Brian.
All right.
Okay.